Welcome back. We're going to start with the research portion, and I'm going to start with the cybersecurity news. But first, if you're interested in presenting, our sign-up page is presentations.ritsec.club. If you have any ideas, we're working on updating the ideas page, so it might be a little weird until then, but ideas.ritsec.club is a place where you can get resources. And if you want free stuff, getting presentation points is probably the best way to get that. So we have some quick announcements. Please sign in. Go to the sign-in category. Go to general meeting, and then you can react to the message to sign in. This is the same as the education piece, but if you weren't here, then that's how to do that. Join the Discord if you haven't done that yet. You need the Discord to sign in. It's a whole process. And then check the calendar. We have everything on the calendar. I know one of Brad's quotes is, "I live and die by the calendar." Or if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist. That's what it is. Check the calendar, add it. Sorry for the thunder. And then this is the RITSec mailing list. This is where you're going to see the presentations that are going to be coming out every week. So if you have a friend you're excited to see, this is how you're going to see like what their topic is, who's presenting, and then come to the research part. We do have our kickoff barbecue pending.
We will give you an update at the end of the meeting. Please stick around.
Yes. So hopefully
It should be done by that time.
the hypothetical kickoff barbecue. And then we will be going to Letchworth State Park on Saturday, September 3rd. Yeah, so just pay attention to announcements. You'll get more details on that. So for our cybersecurity news, I decided to cover the John Deere jailbreak, Twitter whistleblower, and iPhone 0 day. So for John Deere, as time goes on, a lot more vehicles, especially farm equipment, are using more and more electronics so they can like automatically like work the field, like target weeds, things like that. And as more and more electronic systems are added, they become more and more vulnerable. And John Deere says that like you shouldn't be allowed to fix your own stuff. Only you have to come pay us to fix your. I lost a little thingy. No, whatever. Only you can come and pay us to fix your stuff. You shouldn't be allowed to, and it's a safety hazard to try to repair your own equipment. So an Australian hacker recently decided to kind of take matters into his own hands, and he goes by sick codes, and he actually jailbroke a John Deere tractor. So he took, he was experimenting on a variety of different models, but the models he ended up choosing was the 2630 and the 4240 model of the touchscreen consoles on the newer tractors. And after several months, he was actually able to restore the device as a certified dealer. So he was able to control the touch panel as a certified dealer. And then after that, he was able to access around over a gigabyte of logs and was able to use a timing attack to gain deeper access in and eventually gain root access. So after he did this, obviously he did what any normal person would do and ran Doom on the tractor touchpads. Of course, that's the priority. And he has claimed that he was most worried about the vulnerabilities of food security because John Deere is pretty important for the United States food infrastructure. And he also sees the value, and this is kind of a secondary point, but he also sees the values in letting farmers control their own equipment. So that was the John Deere hack, or the John Deere jailbreak. Also, there was a Twitter whistleblower that came out recently. Peter Mudge Zatko, he's Twitter's former head of security. He has filed a 200-page disclosure to the United States government regarding Twitter. And he keeps saying Twitter is filled with a bunch of security vulnerabilities and is a very insecure program. He is saying that, he's alleging that it's not secure and routinely lets thousands of employees, around half its workforce and all of its engineers, work directly on Twitter's live product and interact with actual user data. A lot of companies like Facebook normally will have test data, but they just straight use live customer data. And he alleges that once a week there are incidents so severe that they actually have to be reported to the FTC. And I think it was like the Irish government, which that was a little weird, but I think they have their own security clauses as well. And he also alleges that they don't reliably delete the user data after you suspend your account. So if you delete your account, they can keep the data, and that's just how they go. Like they don't get rid of your data even if you delete your account. So Twitter's response to this basically just said like, oh, he's a disgruntled employee. He was terrible at his job and he's trying to cover for his tracks because he really fumbled the bag on that one. And several politicians have already stepped in, and they're promising to investigate the claims because Twitter is pretty widely used. Like, a lot of governments use Twitter as a form of communication, so it's a pretty big deal. That is the Twitter whistleblower. And then also 2 iPhone zero-day vulnerabilities have come out recently, and Apple is urging macOS, iPhone, and iPad users to update their devices if they have the current operating systems and updates in place. So the patches are being required for 2 zero-day exploits, and they're allowing users to execute arbitrary code, which means that they can just, whatever code they want, they're able to execute within the device. One of the flaws is a kernel bug, which is CVE 2022-32-894. They need better names for that. And that's described as an out-of-bounds write issue. So like the scope of what should be allowed is kind of being bypassed to allow for arbitrary code writing. And another flaw known as the WebKit bug, big CV name, and that allows for maliciously crafted web content to lead to code execution. So by like ending up on the wrong website, they can execute code through this. And they did actually patch anyone using iOS 15. The patch is out there basically, so if you have an Apple device, it's very highly recommended that you update as soon as possible to kind of get around this, just because full root access on your iPhone is not a good thing. And these are quick sources. And without further ado, we have this week's first presentations. Going first, we have Brad, Max, and Alex, and they're going to do their own tips and tricks presentation about RIT and how to navigate things. Sarah will be doing a presentation on how to stay healthy in college. I will be doing a presentation about imposter syndrome and the story about having no clue. And then Max will do his presentation on Tiger Spend, responsible disclosure, and the security mindset. Go Tigers.